guys, we are late, so I have to hurry, but we are going to go look at 2 houses today. This is the first time that we are going to look at houses. This is actually the first time in our marriage that we are going to look at existing houses because we've always built. And so we're kind of starting the true house hunting experience. So Joe and I and Harper are about to hop in the car. We're 10 minutes late and we're gonna go look at 2 houses. This is the house. Do you like this house?
That's a weird driveway.
It's a very adorable neighborhood. Very adorable.
Trees are all over.
See, knock, knock, knock.
A lot of landscaping there too.
Oh, hi.
Come in.
Sorry.
We're in this cute little town and we're gonna go to this cute little restaurant. So we were in that house for 2 hours. We did not go to the other house because we were so caught up with that house. I didn't get a lot of footage of it because I don't want to record in somebody else's house, even though I already did. But I just did it super quickly. The inside of the house was we would literally tear out the entire house. So that's what took so long, was that our agent knew a contractor, and so we met with a contractor and ran through we would tear out all of the floors, we would tear out the kitchen, we would paint everything like a gut job, like Property Brothers style. So I thought I would come on here and talk about each step of the process and kind of talk about why we didn't go a certain direction or why we ended up where we are today. So this house that we went to go look at, I really loved it. Joe, not so much. The neighborhood was so charming, and then it had beautiful views out the back. So with that house, we were pretty much going to, if we had got that house, it would just be a gut job almost. So we met with a contractor and priced everything out and asked him if he thought that it was a good investment and if we would be able to flip the house if we had decided to do that later on down the road. And everything looked good with that. I think that it would have been really fun to go in there and really kind of tear things out and make the house our own. And I think that it would have been a really great investment opportunity. But the thing that with that house that we were worried about was that we weren't changing any of the walls. We weren't tearing down any of the walls. The floor plan was what we wanted it to be, but it just kind of felt a little bit tight and cramped when we were walking through it. We were just worried that we were gonna put in all of this work to make the house something that we loved, and then in the end still kind of have it like miss the mark a little bit. This next house was out of budget. It wasn't necessarily out of budget. Technically it was right kind of at budget. I was like at the top of the budget. I wish I had gotten better footage of this house, at least pulling up. I was looking through Joe's like windshield, and it really put like a weird tint on the house. This neighborhood, I actually got teary-eyed when we entered it because it kind of gave me chills, because it was exactly what I've always dreamed of. And the house was absolutely beautiful. But it was at the top of our budget, and funny story, it was a 2-story. It was a 4-story. It had so many stairs. And so before Joe fell in love with this house, before we went to go look at it, we talked to the real estate agent, and he said that there was the perfect spot to put an elevator in the house. and that he knew of someone. His aunt was putting in an elevator in her house at the time, and so he's like, I have someone for you, you know, just come look at the house and just see. And so we went there like 99.9% knowing that it wasn't gonna work for us, but it was such a beautiful house. It was exactly our style. It was just so gorgeous in so many ways that we were like, okay, let's just go look at it. But of course, in the end, we decided not to go with it because of the stairs. That house was really, really crazy. You would go up the stairs and then you would go up another set of stairs to get to like one room. And then you'd go back downstairs and then there would be like a little hidden staircase that went into another section of the house that you like didn't even know existed. It was just kind of reminded me of like the Labyrinth for some reason. That part in the movie where there's like all those stairs and they're like doing like this maze. That's kind of how the house felt, but like in a really cool way. I think that house would be like like a kid's dream to grow up in, because hide and go seek in that house would just be like epic. So we had found this home builder that we were really excited about. So we had started the process with them. We fell in love with the lot. I don't know that I have a ton of video of it, but it backed up to a golf course and a mountain view. That's something that Joe and I always have like at the top of our list, is to back up to open space, but we just kept not feeling right about it. And so one night I was praying about it and I was just like, Heavenly Father, I love this house so much. I love this lot so much, but I just have this pit in my stomach. And so I don't know how to walk away from this simply because I have a pit in my stomach. So if this house is not meant to be for us, if this house or this neighborhood isn't the best for Harper, please just shut the door so that we know. And the very next day, like in the morning, like when we woke up, we got a phone call from the builder saying that they didn't want to build our house in that neighborhood because our house was, all the finishes that we had picked out and everything like that was putting our house above the rest of the houses in that neighborhood. A lot of the other houses in that neighborhood, retired couples were building, and so they just like weren't putting a lot in with finishes. They weren't finishing their basements and things like that. And so it just put us as like the most expensive house. And so that made it to where the home builder didn't want to build it. But then that also made it to where we didn't want to purchase that house, because we're always looking at the houses that we buy to make sure that they are a good investment in case we sell them in the future. And that house 100% would not have been a good investment. The fact that the previous night I had prayed, if this is not meant to be, just please shut the door, and then the door was shut the very next day, like instantaneous. I was like, okay, that was a prayer. Thank you for answering my prayers. And we are happy to move on. So then we found another lot that we liked, but we found out that the property behind this lot was zoned for commercial instead of residential, whereas when we first went there, it was kind of more painted as it was residential behind us, and so we thought that we were good, but then later we found out that it's actually residential and commercial. And so then we were just like, we don't like that. Okay, right now we are looking at a lot. So this will be the lot. It's a butterfly, I thought it was a bee. It's a cul-de-sac lot. So right now we're at the very end of cul-de-sac, and then we would find a house to build on it. This strip of land all right there, we don't know what's going on, what they're eventually going to build there. They could build houses or they could build a gas station. And you just have no idea. So it's kind of a gamble. So we're at the end of a cul-de-sac, which would be really nice for Harper. And it's an acre lot. We don't like that because there could be like a gas station behind our house. Like that would just kind of be a bummer. But then also looking at it with investment glasses on, we were just like, we don't know that somebody else would want to buy a house that backs up to, an apartment complex or a gas station or a school that's really loud or something like that. And so we weren't sure that it was a great investment for us. And then right during this time, it was looking like Joe's dad was gonna come live with us like in a week. We have been talking about Joe's dad coming to live with us for years now, and kind of just everything came to a head, and it was just kind of a lot of things were happening at once, and it was looking like he was going to come live with us instead of like a year from now, like literally that week, like packing his bags to come. So that really kind of just made us pause the whole house hunting process, because we were like, well, if his dad is coming to live with us, that changes everything. It changes where we would want to live, it changes what type of house, and it changes our budget, it just changes everything. And so we decided to just take a step back. We needed to get all of our ducks in a row. We needed to figure out what was happening with his dad, if he was coming, if he was not coming, if he was coming, what were his needs, how could we meet them. And so we just kind of had to stop the process, take a breather, and figure everything out first. So in the end, Joe's dad decided that he wasn't ready to come out. He still had things that he needed to take care of before he came out, and the things that were like kind of all coming to a head had kind of resolved themselves. So then we went back to house hunting. By this time, we had gotten the offer on our house, and we were moving along with that process. So that really pushed us like, okay, our house is sold, we need to find somewhere to go. We had been looking at existing houses online at that point for months, and it was just such a headache. So we were like, you know what, stick with what you know. Like, let's just find our dream lot and build our house. And so we continued looking at lots. We found this lot that we just absolutely loved. I don't think that the video that I took of it does it justice, but basically our house would be sitting in the center of this lot, and then behind us was a house, but it had like trees surrounding it, so you couldn't really see that house too much. And then there was just the mountain. So our house in the backyard would just have the most incredible, beautiful, like straight out of a magazine mountain view. It was just absolutely gorgeous. You could hear the birds. There were all sorts of different kinds of like wildlife running around. It was originally a part of one big piece of land, and they had put in like a fake pond. Like it wasn't like a natural already there pond, but it was a man-made pond, that's what you call it. And home builders were scared to build on, basically our house would be sitting right where that pond was. And so they would pack it down with dirt. But they were saying when you pack dirt down, like no matter how much you pack that dirt down and how much you like pull in the professionals to pack it down the proper way, that dirt is gonna continue to pack itself down over the next few years. And you could potentially have a lot of really bad foundation issues. And so that was just too much of a red flag for us. That lot in that neighborhood would have been a really amazing investment opportunity, because with what we were getting the lot for and how much it would cost us to build the house that we had wanted on that lot, still would have put us pretty far under what other houses in that neighborhood were going for. And that's kind of what happened with our last house, was for what we got the land for and what we built the house for, it put our house here, but we knew based on comps that the houses in that neighborhood were here. And so we knew that if the market continued to stay where it was at, or if it got better, that if ever we went to go sell, we'd be able to sell it for around here, and we'd be able to make, you know, a decent investment. And that's what ended up happening with our last house. And so we knew that that would be the case with that lot, but in the end, it would just be too risky for sure. So this lot came on the market, and the day that it came on the market, I went to go look at it, and it was really everything that we were looking for. It backs up to open space because the neighbors behind us, they all have really long backyards, but their house is set up like right on, like close to the street. And so we're really looking out at other people's backyards, and so it backs up to open space that will never be like built on or anything like that. And then that same day, I think our real estate agent introduced us to a home builder that she knew of, and we just instantly connected with him, started talking about floor plans. He had some other homes that he was building in the area, and so we went to go look at those, and it was just like a match made in heaven. We finally felt so good about the lot that we had found and the home builder that we had found. The great thing with him is that I think Joe calls it a cost plus builder. So when he builds a house, if you pick out like tile or woodwork on the wall, he just charges the cost that it takes to do that, so materials and labor, but he doesn't put on top of it a charge himself. So that obviously really helps to keep the cost down an absolute ton, because he would have been able to build like the same type of house for literally, and I'm not kidding, $150,000 less. And so it makes it to where even though we're looking at this house as more of a forever home, if ever we did sell it, because we had to or because we wanted to make an investment, we would be able to. So up until this point, we had been so discouraged. We had sold our house, and we just felt like every time we went down a path, that door was shut in front of our face. And then we would go down another path and that door was shut, and we'd go down another path and that door was shut. And it just seemed like we weren't getting anywhere. We weren't feeling super guided. We were just feeling really discouraged. But then all in one day, we found our dream lot and we found our dream home builder, and everything came together. So we actually put in an offer that day to the lot. So that lot was literally on the market for like one day. And they accepted our offer, and a little while later we closed on the lot, and we are just so excited. It was just so many things, so many prayers coming together at once. And of course, looking back on it now, I can see Heavenly Father's hand throughout the entire thing. The reason why the doors kept being shut is because those paths weren't meant to be for us. But when you're in the moment and you're going down this path and the door is shut, and then you go down this path and the door is shut, it's so easy to feel like your prayers are going unanswered. But the thing that I have really learned from this whole experience is that when doors are getting shut, they are an answer to your prayers. Just because you say a prayer and if the answer isn't yes, it doesn't mean that that prayer isn't being answered. It doesn't mean that that prayer isn't being heard. It means that Heavenly Father is hearing you and He's answering your prayer by shutting that door. But it's so hard to see that in the moment and to remember that in the moment. Now looking back on it, I can see that we were being so guided, and I'm so grateful that Heavenly Father continued to answer our prayers and continue to be there for us and continue to guide us, even though I'm like sitting down here like throwing a fit, like, why aren't you hearing me? Someday I'll learn. So we signed on with the home builder. It has been so much fun working with them. For the first time, we are actually doing our own floor plan. Every other time that we've built a house, we go with the home builder's floor plan, and you can't really make a ton of changes to the actual floor plan. That's a question that I got asked a lot when I had announced that we were moving from our last house, was I was saying that it's a 2-story, it's not really working for us. And I got some questions asking, well, you built the house, so how come you didn't just build it as a 1-story? That home builder didn't have any 1-story houses that we liked, like the floor plans. And with their floor plan, you have to go with the floor plan. So building it and making it custom just meant that we picked out the floor and the wall color and the countertops and things like that, but we couldn't change like the actual floor plan around. Whereas with this home builder, we're creating our own floor plan. It is a completely custom house. I got to sit down with them and design my dream bathroom, which was such a dream come true, so exciting, so surreal, definitely kind of like a pinch me moment. I am so excited to see this house come together. It is truly, truly, truly going to be our dream home because we're able to make it exactly what we want and what works for our lifestyle versus working with another home builder's floor plan. So it is going to take about a year for our house to be built, and so we are in our apartment. We are going to be in this apartment for a year. I think the refrigerator turned on, so I'm sorry if that's an annoying sound. Also, you probably heard stomping and kids outside and all of that fun stuff that comes with apartment living. I've actually really been enjoying it so far. We've been here for about a week, so it's really early in the process, but I have really been loving it. We're closer to some of our family. We're in the area that we want to be in, and we've been enjoying it, and we're so excited to start the build. We're gonna be digging here in like the next month or so, and then we're gonna be building the house. We still have to pick out all of our finishes. We still have to finalize the floor plan. We're still tweaking that around and stuff. So there's gonna be lots of fun videos coming out showing you guys the process of like putting the floor plan together, picking everything out, building the house, and all of that fun stuff. So we have a very busy and exciting year ahead of us, and I'm just so excited to see where we're at this time next year. So anywho, that has been our house hunting process from A to Z. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.